Hi everybody, welcome to the dungeon. My name is Robin and today is Flameworking 102.66 Silvered Pinwheels. I found these combinations of colors online through a Google search, which I don't normally do. But what came up was some combinations that worked really great with the color Cleo from Double Helix. And I just so happen to have one rod left. So I'm going to play around with that and see where it takes me. And on another note, we now have a tip jar where we get 100% of the proceeds. So if you have been wanting to give a tip, but wanted to make sure all the money went to us, we now have a way. I don't have a button yet I have to figure the button out, but there is a link in our description, right in the bio area. So if you would like to give to us as a tip, I'm not saying that you have to, but it's there if you would like to. Anyway, I feel weird talking about it. With that said, I hope you're all doing safe and well out there. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time in the dungeon. All right, I'm going to start everything out with this dark gray. And this is one of those colors that I don't think I have ever used for this channel, like in a bead. So what I'm going to do here is pull a nice thick stringer with this gray, and I'm getting about a ball 1/2 inch big, and I'm really letting this cool down. This is in real time. And when I grab it at the tip, I gently pull. And then, you start to feel a slight tug, and that's when you want to make that final hard pull. So take your time at the beginning of, making your stringers. And then, okay, so I'm a little under the weather, you guys. You have to forgive me. So I'm also going to work with this black as a base color. And yeah, so I'm going to heat up my mandrel and go ahead and drop some glass where I want the bead to start. And I'm going to do a walkover with this. I'm going to walk the glass slowly over to the right. And I'm always keeping my glass kind of twisting back and forth a little bit so it continuously gets hotter and hotter where I'm feeding the glass into, the bead. And I'm also making sure that my mandrel, not only my glass, but my mandrel, where I am laying the glass down, is hot enough, or you might get some bubbles in there. And this too, I wanted to make sure people saw me rolling in real time. To me, this is super important. I'm speeding up a little bit here, but when I roll, it's a very slow roll. I am also just kind of trying to heat the surface right now. I'm not heating the whole bead up to where it's unmanageable or uncontrollable. And then when I'm working on my edges here, you'll see me often work the left side and the right side. I'm just working those edges out. And once you get to the bead, the base bead that you like, I got my gray stringer, and I'm just going to start by heating up just the tip of the stringer and placing it where I want it to go on the bead. And I always heat the bead first where I want the stringer to go to get that surface of the bead to be tacky. And then I'm literally just laying down the stringer. I'm not swiping it, I'm laying it down, and I'm holding it as low as I can to the bead while I feed it through the heat. And then if you want to, you can use the end of your stringer to just heat those little ends and pull them just a bit closer to the mandrel, and that's just a personal preference. And now what I'm going to do is just start heating everything up. And I always notice that I work in my heat. I work my heat in a pattern. It's always the left side or the right side. I rarely heat right in the center unless it is calling for me to do so. With a long bead like this, I'm always heating one side and then the other. Okay, so now I have a nice solid bead, and I am going to put some transparent red on top, dot-wise, and this is how slow I put my dots on. Again, this little bit, these first 2 dots are in real time, and I just take my time getting how much heat I need. And I'm always watching, more so than, I should probably, but I'm watching the glass get hot to the same amount every time. I'm watching the end of my glass rod. I don't want it to get any hotter than the dot is big. And you're pretty much going in repetition. It's heating up the same amount and just pushing a little dot down. And it does not have to be a perfect dots in this, okay? It's just that these colors, I heard that these colors worked really good with this Cleo from Double Helix, so I'm kind of testing these out. Specifically, the transparent red and the blue I'm about to put on. But before I can put these blue dots on, I need to melt all this in very slowly and evenly. Again, heating on the left side, heating on the right side, and then heating on the left side and heating on the right side until everything is low enough to where here I can very slowly roll it out. And again, I'm only trying to move just the surface, not the whole bead, just the surface of the glass. And there's my ruler. So this bead is about a little bit more than an inch. Okay, so I'm also going to start dropping these blue dots right in between all of the red dots. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way down. And let's see here. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze off camera. So all I'm doing is just filling in with these blue dots. Again, I'm using the same amount of glass every time. This is great for practicing dot placement as well. A bead like this to me is very soothing to make, and I kind of lose myself in the process, which is very helpful as well, especially when, you're dealing with, life. You can just go down to the shop and just forget about everything for a little bit. So at this point, what I want to do is just heat these dots in very evenly, heating from the left side and the right side. And I'm not going to wait for it to completely melt in. I'm just going to get them as low as I can get. So then I'm just going to kind of gently press those dots down and then give it a gentle roll, knowing that it's not there yet, okay? Because I like I said, I like to take my time heating this in. I don't want to really heat the whole bead, just the surface. And here at the end, I gave it another nice long reheat from the left to the right. And now I'm just working my sides in. And there is our finished, almost patterned bead. Also, this is my final color. This is the Double Helix Cleo. And what I noticed with this color is that you have to have, you have to get it so hot that it turns clear. That is really important. Whether you're going to add it as dots here, I'm getting the tip of it nice and clear before I drop my dot. So you're getting it pretty hot. And then I'm just going to, you could drop your dots wherever you want to, but I was going to drop them on every dot I laid down, the red dots and the blue dots. So I'm just going to take my time building up this pattern here. And I'm sure that any double helix color will work. Any silver color will work. If you have like the Effectory silver, I think it's 1 or 2, that it's the only silver color they have available. So yeah, I'm going to just put dots on one whole side, and then I'm going to flip it over and add my dots to the rest of the bead. And also I have to remind myself that the whole bead, I have to keep it warm in the flame. So every now and then I might have to stop adding dots and just give it a little bit of heat. I don't want any of these dots popping off. And if they do, it's okay. You just add a new one. Now at the bottom here, I didn't feel like these dots were big enough, so I'm going to add just a little bit more of the Cleo. This is my last rod of it, and I just found it, so I was happy to kind of play with it again. And now here again is one big final heat of this Cleo and all the colors underneath. And I hear that the Cleo looks really great over transparent red and blues. So that's why I kind of wanted to try this. It also looks amazing over black. Cleo will turn blue. And it also reacts with this dark gray. So that's why I'm using all these colors. So I've given it my major heat, and now I've rolled it out, and watch here as these colors start to develop. This is what you're looking for. This is the Cleo becoming many different colors. And then that was about 30 seconds out of the heat, so I just wanted to warm it up a little bit. And I'm kind of in a reduction flame, I notice now, because the edges are starting to reduce. And that's fine. I'm going to reduce this anyway, so we are going to go ahead and do that right now. I was also thinking about the ruler. My little marvering pad is 2 inches wide, just to let you know, the little one that I roll on. It's 2 by 3. Okay, so at this point, now that I have given it the reduction, I am going to swipe some clear glass on top of those rows of Cleo. And there's only like, I think 5 rows of them, but I want to stripe it from the top right down to the bottom. Make sure your bead itself is cool enough to where when you swipe the glass on, it doesn't distort your pattern. And now that that's on there, I'm just going to start to heat up. It's not a perfect line of clear, but I'm not worried about that. I just wanted to get some of that reduction trapped underneath the clear. And here I'm just going to start heating everything up. And again, I always like to work my sides and then kind of heat the one side of the bead and work it, and then heat the other side of the bead and work it or roll it, whatever you want to call it. So I'm getting closer and closer now to my edges. Sometimes I'll do my edges first, sometimes I'll wait. So here you'll see that blue shimmer under the clear. That's the reduction being trapped. And that's what you're going to look for. You don't see a whole bunch of it just yet, but when the whole bead is finished and cooled in the right light, you'll see it really, really nice. Okay, so at this point, we're going to go into our pinwheel mode. And again, the pinwheel is very relaxing for me to do this. And so I just wanted to have a bead I could spend some time with and just play around with and make these cool little swirls. So here I go through a couple different stringers because I ran out of this one. This is the Double Helix Triton stringer. But I am spot heating the area where all of the dots kind of come together. There are these little triangular areas in between where the dots are. And I'm spot heating that. And then I go in with a cold stringer and I push in and I twist like 3 times. And I'll do that in between every single dot. And this is just great practice for making these meditative pinwheel beads. So we're just going to continue working. And as I am heating and twisting, you have to remember you're heating up the bead as you go, but you're also neglecting cooler areas in the bead as well. Specifically right now, it's the ends that I am not really paying much attention to. So after every couple dots or every couple twists, I will give the end of the beads a little bit of heat just to maintain the heat. I don't want anything to crack. So this is me just maintaining everything while I get things ready for my end of the bead twist. Oh, you guys, it's been a week, I'm telling you. But I am super happy because I have my next 6 weeks class is running, and I am super excited to meet with my students again. And I've shown them this whole plunge and twist, and it's really amazing when you get your pattern just right. And it's not so much getting your dots perfect, it's just getting the pinwheels lined up. And that's what's going to give you this sweet little pattern of the glass kind of twisting into little pinwheels. All right, I think we're just about done. Yes, here at the end, I am just going to heat up the higher areas of the twists. I'm going to leave this textured. I'm not going to heat this in and smooth it down. I kind of want to see a little texture here of these swirls. So all I'm going to do is just very gently just smooth the top surface down. And that's about it. We're finished with this bead. I thought maybe for a second I would try to reduce it and see if anything was going to reduce, but I honestly don't think it did. So this very last step that I'm about to do, you don't really necessarily have to do it. But first I want to just finish shaping up just the outer shell of the bead, just the shape itself. And I think this looks pretty good. And here I go into this whole, is it going to reduce thing? But you know what? It is already reduced under the clear. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoy this one. Let me know what you think. And I will see you all next time in the dungeon.